I've been visiting with family, and I want to. I've got to pull all my stuff up here. So just give me a split second here of your patience, folks. Let's pop this chat out and hit live chat. And I'm going to wait for everybody to get in. How's it going? Oh, there goes my friggin' chat again. Hang on. Live chat. Pop out. So, if you want me to say hello, remember you got to say hi in the chat so you'll be on the participants list so I can say hello. Oh, shoot. I got this all backwards here. None. So, been a busy day. I'm sure you all heard from our half acre homestead today that I've got an air fryer that I'm going to be previewing this week. And I also have a lomi coming. If you don't know what a lomi is, let me know and I'll explain to you what a lomi is. Hey, yellow bird up high in banana tree. You know what? People are still coming in. I'm not gonna say hello until I have a full list. So, oh my goodness, I went out in the garden today. I got a little zucchini. We had stir-fried chicken, broccoli, zucchini, and onions over vegetable rice I made in vegetable broth. Oh, I'm tired. I'm going to be doing Little House Live in an hour. So I'm really sorry I wasn't here yesterday, but I tell you what, where's my thing? When we went to Fraserville for Howie's mom's birthday. Hang on, I gotta fix this here. Hang on. You're gonna spin. There we go. Now I gotta fix this up like this. So now I'm backwards. Hang on. Here we go. Did you guys spin with me? Oh, shoot. I'm still getting used to this tripod. So, I did the live stream as we were leaving Peterborough to go and get some. We were in Peterborough from Fraserville going to get some gas. We got gas, and we got like close to Havelock, and Howie said, because we were going to go up, take the 62 highway over and go to Belleville and up to Kingston. And he said, I'm really tired. He said, I don't feel well. And of course, he had been eating ice cream and cake and cookies and scones. And then we had this big breakfast with sausages, pea bacon, eggs, hash browns, toast, fruit, So, of course, he wasn't feeling well. But I could feel myself seizing up, not in a fibro flare, just from excess use of my joints. So we thought, do we really want to go, in case he's actually got some kind of bug, do we really want to go see the baby and Mel when I can't walk? And we're tired, and it's not going to be, so we just left it, we're going to go on Saturday. So, all right, let me see. All right, let me pop out the participants and say, there's my Aloha Seashell, Katrina Bay, Becky, Jean Kubicek, Jill V. Hi, Kathy. How are you? Leona 59, Linda Bop, my love. Lynn Smith, Mary Fair. I'm glad to see you, Mary. Michelle Barnhill, Pammy PMS. Rita's Vet, Rosie Slade, Sherry Leach. Let me see if I'm missing. Oh, frigga dig. There it goes again. Hang on. I don't know why it won't let me scroll to the bottom. Rosie Slade, Sherry Leach. How you feeling today, sweetheart? Simply Jessica, the old farmer's wife, Tina Elliott, and Yellow Bird up high in banana tree. There goes my chat again. Guys, I am not doing well here. Hang on. There we go. How's everybody doing tonight? I'm glad to hear it, Sherry. I'm glad to hear it. Hey, Nat, how are you, sweetheart? And there's Kathy Ponder. I was sick and couldn't see my baby either. Hey, Susan Fain. Hey. So we're going Saturday. And for you guys, I haven't edited it yet. I'll probably edit it tomorrow. You'll get it Wednesday. Nan thanking everybody for her birthday wishes because I told them you all said to say happy birthday. And so I videotaped her doing that. And I didn't videotape, the cake or anything like that because I wanted to be present in the day, right? So I got a picture and I did a little video and how he took the camera down and he videotaped the elk. And I think we're going to go and spend $1,000 and go down and pop an elk in November. I'm glad you're here, Mary. Hey, Carolyn, how are you? From Rochester, New York. Awesome. So I took my life in my hands and took the old hi-ho silver walker out there today, and I went out and I looked at my garden, and things are coming along beautiful, Clark. Hey, Linda, how are you, darling? So I'm sorry, guys. I got to turn my fan up. I'm overheating so much right now. And then today, my cousin Marilyn and her husband Johnny came up, and they're staying overnight at the coach, and then they're heading out for a motorcycle ride they're going out somewhere else for a couple of days, and they're gonna tour the country and a little bit, and then they're gonna come back on Friday and head home. So no, an elk license does not cost $1,000. My brother-in-law, okay, no, he's Howie's brother-in-law. My sister-in-law and her husband have an elk farm, and that's where we were for Mom's 85th birthday. So I said, Howie, go take the camera down to the fence because the elk are very tame. And, my sister-in-law, if she has lots of leftover, like, peels or scraps of bread, fruit, vegetables and stuff, she takes it down and gives it. So they all start showing up at the fence at around supper time, thinking they're going to get treats. And so a full-grown elk is like a little bigger than a side of beef, right? So I asked my brother-in-law, I said, he said, just pop one, take it home. I said, well, no, A, it's the wrong season to be popping them because, they're having babies and stuff. And I said, and B, we got nowhere to hang it in the cold weather. I said, but, I said, what's an elk cost? He said, I sell them for $1,000 a piece. I said, good. Because that's a side of beef. That's what I pay for a side of beef. So I think we're going to go down in November, pick our elk, dispatch it, skin it, got it, and then wrap it in a tarp and bring it home to hang in the garage for 2 weeks, and then we'll butcher it up. So yeah, that's and these are very spoiled elk. They live on carrots and apples and hay and pasture. They're pasture raised. Things falling down around here. Oh, I know. Like Howie said, they're not native here. I said, yes, they are. I said, I remember being out in the Zac. Now, the Zac is kind of like Quebec's answer to Crown land. But it's not Crown land. They don't recognize the Crown, right? Kind of. But it's... how many acres are in our in the Zac, dear? Huh? I can't hear him.
He has no idea.
But there's thousands and thousands of acres in the Zac. And you would, be a member in the Zac, and you would go in there and camp. But where we camped in the Zac, some of the folks who've been around our half-acre homestead for a while will remember, is by the time we get to the Zac, there's no cell reception. And then we're a half an hour outside of our campsite. We had the farthest campsite in that we could go. And there was nobody. It was a boat landing. Occasionally somebody had come by on a four-wheeler or something. There was no cell reception. Nothing. But I remember laying in bed in our little camper and hearing them bugle. And I went, Oh, so that's what an elk sounds like, because I heard of the bugle, but I'd never heard one. And I was like, I got all excited. I said, yes, we have it. We have elk. He said, yeah, but it's not like we hunt elk. Because I'm afraid. Oh, here she comes. Here she comes. Here she comes. You want your... Come here, Gracie. Come here. She wants her peanut butter cookies. Howie's, a lady at Howie's work, Sherry, lovely lady. She bakes some peanut butter cookies for Gracie. Come on. Come on. You know you got to give the people what they want. Get up here. Get up here. Get up here. Yes, baby. Oh, my goodness. Her ears were... I had to clean her ears today. They were really itchy. One was really dirty with wax. Oh, did you put the cookies? Oh, you lucky girl. You're a lucky girl. Peanut butter cookies for Gracie. There's no sugar in them. Plain peanut butter. I'll give you another one if you give me a kiss. You want another one? You got to give me a kiss. Thank you. There you go. Here you go. Take your cookie and run. Everybody say hi, Gracie. But so I know what an elk sounds like. I know what the bugle sounds like. I only ever heard it once, like in the wild. So, but I was worried that if we have an elk wrapped up in the back of the truck, and it's not deer season, you know, if we get pulled over, I'm afraid they're going to go, where did you get this? Blah, blah, blah. Like they're really, you know, and you can't accidentally, if you hit an elk accidentally in deer season, it's a big major fine. Big major fine, because elk aren't hunted that I'm aware of here. I know, what a face, eh, Cheryl? Hi, Cheryl. Found out that game animals cannot be sent from Alaska unless you go pop it and have it processed by a butcher. Well, I'm not gonna bother. We're just gonna take the truck down and pop the elk and hang it and skin it, and then we'll bring it home and we'll take it, you know, clean it out and hang it in the barn because it'll be cold enough, right? Hi, Willow, how's it going? No, she said where she gets them from, that's what they charge per elk. Wow. Wait a minute. Wow. So, I mean, the way I look at it is we got a side of beef and in December, we're already at a hamburger. Right? So I'm like, I'm not going to get as many roasts and steaks this time. But if I pay $1,000 for a side of beef and I pay $1,000 for an elk, I can get all the hamburger I want. Right? So, yeah. And then we got the butcher pig coming. So I made 71 jars of chow chow relish yesterday. Wow, Sharon, that's a lot. Hi, Leanne. How are you, darling? That's a lot. I'm just now getting, you know, tomatoes, and they're not even red. I'm getting zucchini. I haven't got any beans yet, but I'm getting peppers, and I forgot where I saw it, but I dug up some leeks, remember, and some onions, and I planted my peppers in there. The onions and the peppers, or the onions and the leeks, are doing much better than I've ever seen them do, and I think it's because the peppers are planted with them. Absolutely, get it while you can. Absolutely. So tomorrow I'm probably going to do a video on using the air fryer for the first time. I'm just going to make fries, right? And we'll have hamburgers or something with it, and that. I'm good. I've just been super busy day on both my brother's birthdays. They were born exactly 1 year apart, but on the same day. My nephews, my sister's 3 boys, one's on the 15th of July, one's on the 16th of July, and one's on the 17th of October. So it's like, we all know when we ovulated. Guess what? Both times I got pregnant was on the May long weekend. How did that work? Well, I'm pretty sure alcohol had something to do with it both times. Do fried chicken, really? In the air fryer. But I'm gonna have to unbox it and read the instructions and all that fun stuff. You're slowly getting things from the farmer's market. Good idea, Nat. Good idea. Hey, Michelle Maria, how are you today? So I don't know what's going on. I went to grab what I thought was the last bag of peppers in my freezer, and I got none left. So my pepper, onion, zucchini stir fry turned out into a onion, zucchini, broccoli stir fry, and then cousin Marilyn and Johnny showed up, and she had a part of a green pepper and a half a zucchini, so that all went in there too. We had a lovely supper. Fried chicken in the air fryer. Okay, well maybe I'll do that. I made my chow chow from the local produce I bought. Well, that's good. You know, the thing is, right, is everybody's got to do the best they can with what they have. And, you know, some of us are getting older and gardening's getting harder. But I'm telling you, I never thought that at this point in my life that I would be gardening because I had to. You know what I mean? It's getting that bad. The grocery prices are just insane. Like, going to Maxi, like I did on Friday, and sorry, I've got to move my leg. Hang on. I'm really stiff still. Oh. I've got to, I just had a brain fart. What was I talking about? I talked to the cattle rancher today, and he said beef is going up again. Well, I don't know how much I'm paying for the beef this year, right? I really don't. I just send him money whenever I have it. And when he tells me I'm done, right? I think I've only sent him like $400 or $500 right now. So, but I got to start sending that out on paydays, because my sunflowers grew a foot in 2 days. My zucchini leaves are like umbrellas. They're huge. They're huge. Oh, and I didn't do a video, but you remember when we put that piece of lattice on the edge of the watermelon bed in my one video? Well, it just kind of got hot and kind of draped. So I went out today and I put the lattice on the edge, and then I found 2 pieces of cane, bamboo cane, and I stuck them down on the ground. So now the watermelon have a trellis that they can crawl on, and it's not going to be a problem for Howie to whippersnip around them. Having to garden to subsidize because of high prices. Hey, it's got to be K. Dean. How you doing? Saw Depression era celery adjusted for today's inflation. Oh my God, really? You know what? Nobody makes that kind of money, and that's the thing, right? But thank you, Just Inflation Trudeau. I'm not going to get in on that, because last time we had this conversation, it went from there to me being called a bigot because I said I'm a woman. You know what I mean? It's really, don't go there. But yeah, you know, like we were talking on Little House Live. You know, someone said, well, $200, that in today's money, that's like, you know, maybe $7,000. I said, no, you think about this. $200 in 1875, that's really expensive for horses. That's like 10 grand a piece. Why? Because back then, horses were everything. They were your transportation. They were your farm equipment. They fertilized your fields. You know what I mean? Horses were life for the farmer. So, you know, spending 10 grand on a horse, you know, think about it nowadays. You want to run a farm, you know, are you going to plow with horses? No, you're going to plow with a tractor. How much is that tractor? And how much manure do you get out of that tractor to fertilize your fields after the fact? I'm telling you, the Industrial Revolution ruined us for living simply. I need to get chicken canned because the kids have been eating chicken salad with crackers. Yummy, yeah. What are you going to go see this weekend? Oh, I have not seen The Sound of Freedom. I would really like to see it. Have you seen the news? Like, they're calling it QAnon or something like that. And it's all about, oh, they're saying, it's a paranoid conspiracy theory movie. All mainstream media is trying to downplay the fact that it outsold everybody on July 4th. Absolutely everybody. And they're trying to make people believe that it's not based on truth, right? That it's all us right wing, fringe minority, conspiracy theory nuts that are buying into it. But it outsold the latest Disney movie. Well, who wants to watch Indiana Jones that's been remade to be politically correct or whatever, right? Inclusive, right? Turdo said he blames his problems on the Americans. What? Farming with a donkey and a plow. Yeah, you can't find anything about the movie at all in our mainstream media unless it's negative. Exactly. Exactly. Which is horse shit. Do you remember me talking a while back saying if you can, the most horrific thing you can actually think of, like go down into your deep, maybe don't, but go down into the deepest, darkest recesses of the most horrible things that you can think of. And they exist. We don't think about this shit. If we good, honest, God-loving, truth loving people can think of horrific things, can you imagine what the perverts and the creeps are thinking? Those people would, don't even get me started on, the Sounds of Freedom doesn't cover half of the horrible stuff. Like they were saying, he did an interview. The guy who the movie's based on, he did an interview, and he couldn't figure out why when they was in the screening, why one section of the movie, everybody was whispering. They would start to whisper because there was this place called Disney's been grooming kids forever, right? And so afterwards he asked him, why was everybody whispering in this one spot? And they said, because the Pleasure Island you showed, everybody recognized it as Epstein Island. Epstein had to die in prison because he just held way too many secrets. Epstein Island, there were people who went to Epstein Island, never saw anything out of untoward, right? There were people that would visit there that wouldn't be caught in the trap, right? But Epstein, they say, you don't touch him. He's basically working with the government because people would come in and they would be tempted to have sex with people, and they'd find out they're underage, and they'd have their picture taken, and then he would have something over him. And it's horrible. I went down a rabbit hole one day. I didn't even go to the dark web. I just went down a rabbit hole one day. And I had to take a lorazepam after I vomited and lay down and cry for 2 hours. Because I've seen pictures of little children with black eyes. And you see people wearing, you see the industry, making all these weird hand symbols and all these, weird things and all this stuff. And then you see people like dancing and they've got their eyes are all black and they're all white and they're wearing the panda look. Panda tea. I can't even play a video game with pandas in it anymore because it triggers me to be really upset. Well, yeah. I've seen clips of really old Disney stuff, like in Pinocchio. Oh, yeah. You want to make some real money? This fox and this other guy meet at the bar. And he said, the real money's in little boys. He said, bad little boys. And we can take them and we'll take them to Pleasure Island and they never come back. That's Disney. You understand? So Howie and I want to see it. It's not just sicko men, Katrina, babe. It's there's women too. I'm sorry, but there is one woman who has climbed the ladder from being a talk show host and doing a movie or two to being one of the wealthiest people in the world. And I used to love her, and now I can't. I can't. It's not that I don't love her. I pray for her because I can't. There's people now I can't even look at when they come on the TV, and it's not just Trudeau. The Big Island was a playground for the big politicians. So sad. Yeah, I know. And it's, if you, sex trafficking and child trafficking are, let me put it to you this way. It's huge money for the sicko underworld, right? It's huge money for the sicko underworld. And the thing is, and this is the guy who did who went and rescued and did all this stuff, who's the main character in the movie. He said the thing about children is you can sell cocaine, and the person goes away happy, but you've sold that cocaine and it's gone. He said children you can sell repeatedly. I mean, oh yeah, Katrina, I don't even want to talk about Adrena. Yep, I ain't saying no words. But it's so I'm starting, it makes my blood boil to hear this movie being downplayed as paranoid conspiracy theorists. That everybody who goes to see it are the misogynist racists, it's us fringe minority people, right? Michelle, if you made a comment in this live stream in small letters, you have 200 characters. And that includes spaces and punctuation. And if you go over that 200, they delete it. If you're doing it in all capitals, you only get 100, and that includes punctuation and spaces. What can we do about it? We can stop supporting Hollywood, for starters. We can, because anybody, I'm sorry, but anybody who got that high, okay, let me put it to you this way. Remember me saying, I used to be a Catholic? Anybody who climbs that high, A, had help, B, they left every choice they made. Their choices got dicier and dicier and dicier to get where they want to be. Trump became president because he was known, he was popular, and he was wealthy. Hey, Lori, how are you? The Red Shoe Club. Ooh. So, I mean, nobody gets anywhere. I'm telling you, this world is run by, and I hate to sound biblical, but this world is run by the dark side. See, this is why the light bearers have to learn how to filter everything through love. Why? Because we would kill people if we didn't. People would die, because there would be people, my father used to say this, I could never be a cop. And I said, why? And he said, because people would die. Because the legal system is skewed. Every system that we can think of, religious organizations, the more powerful they are, the more they've made poor choices to get there. Political parties, political systems, medical systems, big organizations, CDC, the World Economic Forum, the UN, all of these things are in place to control us, and we're almost at the precipice of the cliff. So what do? We love, and we love hard, right? We can no longer, there's nothing we can do except what we were told to do. And that was, if you take all of the teachings that Christ said and did and all these things, and you narrow it down to one thing. Christ said, love. Love. Love is the answer. And I know it's hard to pray for people you hate, but those are the people, or the people that are just evil. Okay? But if we don't pray for them, they have no chance of ever turning around. Some people are always going to be evil. There has to be balance between good and bad. But we don't have to let the scale tip so that we're being crushed under this darkness. We have to bring it back. There, you know what I mean? My oldest granddaughter has bought into the BS of it all. Heard she's gotten worse since she moved out from her cousin she works with. Thing is when the Bible was written, the Bible, Old Testament, you know, man, I don't care how pure the communication was between man and God, or Moses and God, or anybody else, the moment they tried to put the information that God gave them one-on-one down in written form, it got misunderstood. It got polluted. Why? Because we are human. We are not God. God is the only pure being, right? So anything we touch gets tainted, right? So even Moses, he got the right idea when he brought down those 10 commandments. And those 10 commandments are gold. But the truth is, nobody got it. Let me tell you, I met Christ, okay? You call me crazy if you want. But when Arthur was a baby, hi, Mom. Hey, Stacy. When I was a mom for the first time, and I was living at home with my dad, and I had gotten I started going to church when I was pregnant with Arthur, because I thought, I'm not just responsible for his health and his well-being and his education. I'm responsible for his soul too. So I started going to church, and I became a Catholic. But before I became a Catholic, I was doing all this research, and I was kind of basically doing my own catechism. And I was kneeling beside my bed praying the rosary one night, and I wasn't getting that glow that I had connected with God, right? So I'm praying the rosary over, and I'm kneeling there, and I went, I don't get it. What am I missing? Because I wasn't feeling anything. And boom, everything in the room disappeared, and there was Christ on the cross. And he ain't blue-eyed, and he wasn't blonde or even brown. His hair was like spiral black, almost ringlets. And his eyes were dark, and his skin was dark. You know, he looked Arabic kind of thing, right? Like, you know, a sheik or something. But, I mean, and he looked at me. Never said a word. But I was flooded with love. And I went, oh my God, you did this for me. And I took that as a sign that I was supposed to become a Catholic, because I was praying my rosary at the time. What was his message? What wasn't I getting? Love. I didn't understand. Everything else was fluff on the furniture. Love is the only answer, right? So Off Grid with Doug and Stacy said the guy who gets the proceeds is a child trafficking big guy. Well, do we really know that? Right? Do we really know that? How do we know that? Right? I am in no place to judge. The only thing you know the truth, guys. We can't judge anybody. We can get angry all we want, but we still got to filter that reaction through love. Or because if we act on that anger, or we even react with that anger, we are no better than the person we're angry at. Why? Because we're looking at negativity and we're filling ourselves with negativity over that negativity. Do you see how it multiplies? And that's easy to do. It is easy to stand in judgment on somebody who has done injustice or horrible things in the world. The hard thing is to love them enough to pray for them. Right? That's the answer. And I don't mean you have to pray for them, but you cannot, I cannot, nobody can stand in judgment on anybody else. The only thing we can do is look at that behavior and judge ourselves at how we would react. So, I see somebody across the road verbally abusing and assaulting their parent who is elderly. Now, I got choices. I can call the police, or I can walk out there. Now, this guy was a really big guy. I can walk out there and give him shit, or I can phone the police. But what I can't do is stand in judgment on him. I prayed for the dad, the father, right? And he got taken down for that. Like his older brother came in and gave him hell. His brother-in-law almost. But my point is, all right, I can't give in to my anger. Because if I'm giving in to my anger, I'm doubling their anger. But what happens if I see that or I intercede or whatever the case may be, but it's really hard to do. But if you say, oh God, please look after that man. Please, that older man, please take away the rage in that young man's heart, and call the cops, right? But the thing is it's not easy to look at injustice or pain or hurt or brutality and find love for that person. But if you can, then you're throwing positive at the negative. You're not multiplying the negative. There is no multiplying. There's no subtraction and division in love. There's only addition and multiplication, right? Do you love your second child or your first child any less because you got a second child to love? No, the love doubles, doesn't it? Right? But it's hard. Narrow is the path to our heart's salvation. Broad is the path to destruction. Because destruction and negativity and evil is easy to give into. And it's easy to pat yourself on the back for it too. For judging somebody for their actions. It's not our job, man. It's not our job. All we're doing is making it worse. Does anybody understand? Does that make any sense? Ye who are without sin can cast the first stone, not judge, not lest be. Yeah, but this is where I differ with a lot of people. I have read the Bible, okay? More than once, except Revelations. I did not read Revelations. And there is a lot of wonderful lessons in that book. There is a lot of life lessons in that book, right? But there's a lot of stuff that's been manipulated by man starting with the book of Genesis. You ever notice women in the Bible are either prostitutes or saints, or prostitutes that became saints. Women were never treated fairly right from the get-go. Seriously? We have been living in a patriarchal society since caveman days. Right? Because women are powerful. We're not, we are the life givers. Like we give life, right? The only reason man needs to protect woman is when she's vulnerable during pregnancy and after birth, right? That's why he's there. That's what a man does. He protects his family. But it didn't mean that he should rule the world, right? Our whole political system needs to be dismantled, and we need to come up with a system like a circle of grandmothers from all over. Not the United Nations, not politics. I'm not necessarily saying men. I'm saying the male energy has let us down. This whole planet is run by evil. Everything's, we are all inclined to evil as the sparks fly upward. Right? It's natural in us. But we've been led down the wrong path for too long. And people got to start, hey, Catherine. Well, everything gets manipulated, right? Now they're trying to erase women. They're trying to erase by adding so many genders that, we're now called a parent. Does anybody see 1984 coming down the pipe here? Love them enough to pray for them. Exactly, Carol. Exactly. Right? Hi, Stacy. So my point is oh shoot, I'm sorry. I've got to turn this. There we go. Sorry about that. I had to turn off my thing. Is nobody's ever said speaking the truth was going to be easy. Nobody ever said living the truth was going to be easy. Nobody ever said loving the evildoers was going to be easy. But that's our job. That's the only way we're going to get through this. I mean, they have thrown so much. It started about 10 years ago. They stopped selling ads, luring you into stuff. Now they're selling things but through fear, right? Hey, Luann, hi. Love one another as I have loved you, that you also love another, is the hardest commandment for me to follow. Well, see, the thing is I believe this. No, let's not say believe. This is my understanding of the hierarchy of heaven. Jesus was given to us by God to bring us back to God, not to become God. Jesus, if you think about this, think very clearly. He never wanted to be worshipped as God. When he said nobody gets to the Father except through me, if he indeed said that, what he means is, I'm here to show you how to come back to the Father. Love is the answer. Whenever he healed somebody, he'd say, shh, don't tell anybody. Because he didn't want to be known as a healer, as a priest, as a rabbi, as a God in any way, shape, or form. He was brought here to tell us that God is love. Right? God is love. That's it. Right? He was the Son of God, just like you and I are children of God. But he never wanted to be held up he never wanted a religion built on him. He didn't. He wasn't here to be worshiped. He was here to bring us back to the Father of love, or to the parent of love. Do you understand? So whenever I say Jesus was a cool dude with a great message, you know what I'm talking about, right? All the parables. Like, if I read the Bible and something in it makes perfect sense and it rings with the clarity of truth, then I accept it. But if I, you know, I see something, you know, blah, 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 if it doesn't make sense to me, now religion's not supposed to make sense, right? Because we're not supposed to, you know, we're just supposed to be led by the people above us that tell us how to believe. No, that's bullshit. If you break it down into its most simplest form, God is love. God does not destroy. Oh, Sodom and Gomorrah and all that. Yeah, are you kidding me? I'm sorry. God doesn't do that. God is love. So any of the shit that goes down, wars, revolutions, plagues, tsunamis, earthquakes, extinction level events, got nothing to do with God and everything to do with us being manipulated by a darker force. Anything that goes wrong, you blame it on the dark. Anything that is good and pure and brings love, that's God. Period. Full stop. Does that make sense? Hey, Buffalo, you're back home. Where were ya? Humans destroy humans. That's right. Look what they did to Christ. When all he wanted to do was to show them the power of God's love. Why did he wait and not get to Lazarus before he died? He wanted to prove a point. Roll away the stone. This is the miracle of God. Lazarus, come forth. And just like now, once Lazarus was alive again, he was murdered. Why? Because they didn't want people to know how powerful God was. Has anything changed? Well, thank you. I'm not speaking truth. I'm just speaking from my heart, right? You know, all Christ wanted to do was say, God is love. God heals. You don't need me to heal you. Fill yourself with the divine light of God's love. You will heal. If you get to that point of, some people call it enlightenment, you will heal, right? But you got to be honest down to the core with yourself. You have to love yourself enough to be honest with yourself, and then everything becomes clear, right? Everything becomes clear. So, if we take down I'm not going to say take down statues or take down the Bible, because the Bible has given me comfort in times when I couldn't find comfort anywhere else. Praying and rosaries, even when I was a Catholic. I never went into a church, any church, because I was always going to them. I never went into any church that I didn't come out feeling like I had learned something. And isn't that the point? I'd come out and I felt that I had gotten something wonderful and uplifting, right? Doesn't matter what church it is, as long as the love rings true, right? So if we take away man's interference in history, as Christ did live and he walked the earth, if we take out man's interference in history, well, we look at history now, they're erasing it. We look at, just because things went wrong didn't mean they weren't doing the right thing in their mind at that time. But you can't erase what they did. Why? Because then we won't learn from it, will we? Tear down statues of John A. Macdonald. What good is that going to be? Nobody, they're not even teaching proper. Most, I'm going to say 50% of the people who drop out of high school in North America are functionally illiterate. Why? Because they're not teaching the things they're supposed to be teaching anymore. Right? It's, you know, it's all full of awake means that you're being honest with yourself enough to be awake to what's going on and what has been going on for hundreds and thousands of years. All right? If you look at the beginning, when the Bible, the first book of the Bible was written, okay? And you come to now, we are so close. Women, the sex of women is so close to being erased. Right? Me saying that I am a woman, and even if I wanted to be, I could never be a man because I was born with XX chromosomes. I got called a bigot for that. Why? There is only two sexes. Now, if you want to talk about the sexes and the gender spectrum, the spectrum is up here in those people's minds. Well, I'm not this and I'm not that, but I'm a little bit of this and a little bit of that. Okay, but you were born a woman. But I'm not a woman now. Yes, you are. I have a penis. I've had my breasts removed. I'm full of testosterone. But you still have XX chromosomes. Same thing for a man, XY. It's that simple. Science, you know. God gave us choice. God gave us free will. And that's something he never gave anybody else. He never gave the animals. He never gave it to the angels. Anything like that. He never gave anybody but us free will. And it was our undoing in so many ways. But God loved us enough to say, okay, here you go. Believe in me or not. Love me or not. The choice is yours, and so will the repercussions be. Right? So all of the horrible things that are happening in the world are a result of somebody's poor choices. All of the bad things that have happened to me in my life are a result of my choices somewhere along the line. It's not the sins of the father. It is the sins of the father. If you look at it in a way, I got to go right shortly here, guys. I want you to think about this. The sins of the parents being visited upon the children is not necessarily what they did wrong. It goes all the way back to Adam and Eve, or the first man, you know, and the choices they made have a ripple effect on their children, and and it changes how their children are going to make choices, and that has a ripple effect. So everything we've come to in this massively screwed up world is because millions of people made wrong choices over time, over hundreds and thousands of years, and we've let them. We've allowed, or we've just said, oh, that sounds good, and we've believed. How can you trust another person, say, in a religious organization or a World Economic Forum organization or a Center for Disease Control or the World Health Organization or the UN? How can we trust them to make decisions for us when they are fallible? Nobody's perfect. So we have now a society that's been built on lies and broken promises for thousands of years, where women have been vilified and put down and men made to feel superior. When that's never, we're supposed to walk hand in hand, side by side. So, all right, Rosie, I just want to say, when it comes right down to it, you got to meet her. And if you have a decision to make and you go, ooh, I don't know about that, or ah, when the needle is pointing of your conscience is pointing true north, right? And you feel comfortable with your decision, then make the decision. You make a decision that goes, okay, well, maybe it'll be okay. You were given that compass, a moral compass, for a reason. Don't let anybody tell you any different. Thank you, Kay Dean. Oh, it's for more Gracie treats. Thank you, darling. Listen, guys, I have 5 minutes to set up for Little House Live, and I'm going to do that now. Thank you for being here. I know we got into this last Thursday, and I just wanted to bring it back in, rein it all back in and say, name calling doesn't do anybody any good, right? Love. Always love. Moral compass. If you have a split second of doubt in his decision, then you need to really sit down and think about that decision before you make it. Our life and everything in this world is a result of humans making decisions. Right? Take care. God bless. I love you guys. I'm sorry we don't, let's do a really quick prayer. Okay, let's do a really quick prayer. For all those who care to, please help me close with some spiritual nourishment. You just connect to your faith, and I'll connect to mine. And religion doesn't weigh into this. This is about love and reaching out in love for each other and the world, okay? And if you don't stay, there is no judgment. Not everybody is there, right? Hey, God. Thank you, God. Thank you, God, for bringing us together and, helping us talk about the things that are important, the things that resonate with us. How we know, God, that you're all good all the time and that love is always the answer. There's a lot of folks out there, God, who are having a hard time. They're confused. It's been thousands of years of programming that we're trying to break and untangle ourselves from the web of lies that we've been raised on generation after generation. There's people that are alone or ill or confused or rejected or neglected or just having a hard time because they're so burdened with the weight of the darkness in the world that they have a hard time finding the light. God, please fill us with the light of your love, and may we stretch out our arms and our hearts, and may we shine with the light of your love. Fill us with the light of your love. If for no other reason that we can go forward into the darkness, and with our light part the darkness as Moses parted the Red Sea, and we make a path for those to follow. We don't want people to follow us, God. We want people to follow your love. Everything is love. Anything else? Well, that's just 50 Shades of Grey, ain't it? All the way to black. Thank you, God, for your love and your peace and your clarity. And thank you for my YouTube family and my internet family as we come together in your name and in the name of your love. Amen. I gotta go. Namaste. Shalom. Miigwech. Blessed be. Walk in the light of God's love. Peace be with you. Whatever language you use, we know that love is the language of all of our problems. Love is the answer to everything. Take care. God bless. And I'll see you Thursday night. Shit, I'm late.